Hey, this is Professor Homa. Welcome to CSC103 for W1, W2, and M2. This is going to be a little week one overview of some of the things that are going to be in my Warren, and it should be the same for all the classes. And I'm in faculty view right now, so you'll see some things that you normally won't see, like add new post and stuff. But since I don't have the assignments open yet, they won't open to the 8th, and today is the 7th. I'm just going to show you some of these things in faculty view. It shouldn't look a whole lot different. But again, this will be the same if you're in the W1, W2, and the M2 section. Now, first of all, I'll post new announcements and things like that. First thing I just want to point out under Documents and Resources, down here I have our playlist. So you're going to have a playlist, whatever one you're logged into. For W1 and W2 are going to be the same playlist. That's the YouTube playlist. That's what the video you're watching right now is going to be part of that playlist, as well as the intro video I made and the intro to my Warren. So all the assignment videos are going to be in this playlist. So when you click on this playlist, it's going to go here. This will be weird because I'll be seeing myself and hearing myself, so I'll make sure I'll turn it off as quick as possible, but I'll be loading all new videos in here, so you'll be seeing those as the semester goes on. So that's the playlist, and that's going to be for your class. If you're in W1, W2, you're going to go in here, and there's going to be a separate one for M2 because that's a remote section. All right, so that's all you need to know about that. So that's finally up there, and you'll be able to go in there and check it out to watch videos of things for class and the activities for class. I also want to point out, too, under syllabus, I now have the information posted. I have the syllabus in PDF format. This is the electronic course materials. This is for the Cengage textbook. And if you just follow the instructions here, this is your course key, and it's for this particular class. So it has to be for your class. And obviously, if you're in W1, you're going to have a different one. In W2, you're going to have a different one. And M2, you're going to have a different course key to go into. But just follow the instructions here. If you have any problems, just let me know. And let me just point this out too. If you email me, I have 3 103 sections. I have a 121 section, GRD. I have a CSC 121. So if you just email me and say, hey, this is Stu, what are we doing Wednesday? I won't know who that is. So you got to tell me what class you're in and section. So say, hey, this is Stu from CSC 103 W1. Then I could look at the roster right away and find out what to do instead of trying to search around and say, figure out who this is, especially if it doesn't have your name on the email. Sometimes it doesn't have a name. People just think I know the email address, and I don't. So make sure you do that. When you email me, make sure that you put your section and course number in there so I could find you. So anyway, that's the Cengage stuff. To get the Cengage textbook, we'll have some reading a little bit later in the week on that. So that's all I wanted to show you so far. Now, the assignments to start us off, if you go under Coursework, and if you go there now, you're not going to see anything because they're not open yet, because I didn't want them to open until tomorrow. So I'm going to go back into instructor view. Now, I'll see them here, except they're the way I set them up, so I can turn them on and turn them off and things like that. But you're not going to see them like this. You'll see the links that you'll click on. But just to show you a couple things, there's 4 things I have loaded in here so far. There's a student survey. That's about you and technology and things like that. There's a pretest, so I can kind of gauge your skills or where you're at or what you know ahead of time, and then we'll have a post-test at the end of the semester. There'll be a student introduction discussion board where you'll introduce yourself to me and the class and just talk about yourself a little bit. You won't put a picture in yet, but you will eventually, because we'll do that as part of an assignment. So don't put a picture in yet until we know how to edit a photo and make it the right size and upload it. I'll have another video for that. And then also email confirmation. That's the easiest one. I'm going to send out a blanket email to everybody in the class, and you're just going to reply to me and say, hey, this is Stu, I got it, and this is the correct email. And that way I can filter out if we have any emails that are not correct, or if you're going to change an email, anything like that. So that's kind of like a send out, so I know who's kind of listening and who's getting emails and who's not. Because if I don't hear from you, you have to check your spam, you have to check different places. I have to check my spam if you replied and I didn't get it. So we'll kind of troubleshoot by doing that. You'll get 10 points for that. You'll get points for your discussion board. You'll get all the points for that. And I'll just point these out for a second. I'll just click on here, even though it's not going to look exactly like this. I'll just go in here and say preview this test. The survey is going to look like this. How do you feel about taking this class online? Things about the LMS, about Cengage, about what kind of computer you use, about your internet connection, different things like that. So there's 18 here. I think the M2 might have 20. The M2 section, you might have 20 because I asked a couple things about like Zoom and GoToMeeting and stuff like that. So you're going to do that, and then when you're done, you're going to submit the pretest. Now for the pretest, I'll just go over that real quick. That's just going to be gauging your previous skills. So don't worry about how you do on this. Even if you fail it, I'm going to give you all the points. I think right now there's somewhere like 20 questions on here. There'll be a pretest and then a post-test at the end of the semester. So if you do horrible, that's okay, because you want want to improve anyway. And if you get like 10 out of 20, I'm going to give you 10 bonus points and you'll get 20 out of 20. So make sure you do it. So that's the pretest. And also don't look up the answers. The idea is not to look up the answers. The idea is to see what you know coming in. So don't go Google everything so you do real well. I'd rather have you do bad. I will not look at anybody who got 3 out of 20 and think, oh my God. I will just think, hey, that's good. They have a lot to learn. So that's good for this course. So don't look up the answers and you'll get 100% no matter what you do. You can't beat that. And back to coursework, student introduction discussion board. There'll be a description in here, but you could go right to the discussion board. And if you go in here and go into student introductions, what you're going to do is just add a post and put in your name. And I'll just put in Stu Smith. That's me right now, Stu Smith. And you don't have to put my name as Stu Smith because the subject is Stu Smith. And then you could put in, I like horses, I like to fish, I like to kill spotted lanternflies. Obviously, I'd like you to put in something about what your major is and your experience with computers a little bit and where you're at as far as your education goes. And if you want to put anything else that's personal, things you like to do, you have hobbies, you play music, you do artwork, or anything else that's kind of interesting, you work on cars, whatever it may be, you could put that in there too. This is your little introduction to the class and introduction to me. So you could tell a little bit more about yourself other than just what you're doing on your assignments and what you're writing in here. Now, you don't have to answer anyone's posts. You could read them if you want to, that's fine, but you don't have to reply. I'm not requiring that you go reply or have one reply to everybody's post, but put in, a paragraph or two, whatever you want. Some people put a lot of stuff in here. Some people put a little. If you want to talk about the COVID lockdown and what you've been going through, anything like that, that's fine too. Now, don't put a picture in here yet because we're going to do that as part of an assignment. And we're going to make sure it's the right resolution, the right size, cropped and adjusted perfectly so it's in here. And also, if you don't want to put your picture in, because I know some people get weird about their own picture, you don't have to. You can put a picture of your dog or a picture of a landscape or a sunset. I don't care what it is, but just so we do some work and we do some photo editing with that. So don't worry about that if you're like, oh my God, I don't want to put a picture of myself in here. But so anyway, once you put your little introduction in here, you have your name, your introduction, you could just put submit. And that's it. And then later on, we'll be able to edit this and put our picture in the same thing. So we have a little thumbnail, just a little tiny one, just something like that. And I think I mentioned already that we have the email confirmation. So when I send you an email, just reply to me. And that way I'll know that I have your correct email. And if not, we'll kind of work it out. So those are the first couple things for the first week. I'm going to have some other reading assignments and another PowerPoint in here that I'll narrate that you'll be able to watch. So there'll be a couple more things in here, but these are the main things for week 1. So check this out and we'll see you on the Home of WCCC channel, the playlist for W1 and W2 or for M2.